In this video, we're going to focus on apps, specifically how we can move a single app, as well as move multiple apps at the same time, how we can place them into folders, as well as remove an app. Now, if you found this video helpful, stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating these videos. Let's take a look at apps on the iPad. So I'm looking at my iPad here, and let's first take a look at how we can move a single app. Let's say I wanted to move this app over to the right. How do I do that? Well, basically you just long press on it and then wait a couple of seconds. Once that contextual menu basically pops up, then what you can do is you can drag this wherever you want. So I can place it there, and now when I'm done, I can tap on done here, or what I could do is tap in this area where there's no icons. And now I've just moved that app. So again, just long press on it until you see that menu, and then you can just drag it where you want. And then tap to get out of there. Now if you drag it to the edge of the screen, what it's going to do is it's going to move it over to another home screen. I have a separate video on home screens, but just know that if you drag it over to the edge, it's going to go to another home screen. Now, what about multiple apps? Maybe what I'd like to do is move these apps over to the right. How do I do that? Well, to move multiple apps, what we first do is move a single app, but we don't let go. So as an example, I'm going to take this app and I'm just going to move it slightly over, but I'm not going to let go. So I long press on it, I drag it, and I still have hold of it. So I'm not going to let go. Now what I need to do is I need to tap on the other apps that I want to move with it. So I'm going to tap on these three apps. And when I do, you're going to see them move on top of the other apps. So now I'm dragging those four apps around. And when I let go, I could drag them to another home screen. I can move over here to the right. When I let go, what it's going to do is it's going to move those over there. So that's how we can move multiple apps. Again, what we need to do is we need to tap on done, or we can tap in this area here. And now I've just moved those apps. What about moving them into a folder? How do we create a folder on the iPad? Well, basically to create a folder, what we do is we drag one icon on top of another. So let's just go with these four apps here. I want to put them into a folder. So the first thing I need to do is I need to drag one app on top of another. It doesn't matter which one. What it's going to do then is it's going to create a folder. Then I can move the other ones in there. So let's go ahead and do that. I long press on it and I drag it around. So I'm just grabbing this icon, this app icon here, and I place it on top of the other one. Now when I do that, take a look at this icon here. You're going to see that it has an outline there. That means that it's going to create a folder. So I place it in there, and now we have my folder. Now there I waited a little bit and it created the folder right in front of me. Another thing you can do is you can drag and place it on top of the other one and let go. You don't have to sit there and wait for it to create that folder. All right, so I've created those two folders here. Remember, I wanted to have one folder. So now what I need to do is I need to take the apps out of here and move them into here. And then what happens to this folder here? Well, if there's no apps in the folder, what it'll do is it'll remove it. So let's go ahead and open it up. And I drag. I'm actually going to drag both of them. Remember how we do that? I have both of them there. I drag it outside, and then I place it on top of that folder, and lo and behold, they're in that folder, and it removed this folder. So just drag an icon on top of another one, and then it'll create that folder. Now, what about naming the folder? Well, there's two different ways to do that. You're going to see that I'm still in my jiggly mode. They're jiggling. When it's in the jiggly mode, what I can do is I can tap on the folder, and when I do, the name of the folder is highlighted and I can type in whatever I want in here. So I'm just going to call this folder. So I tap on the X and we're going to call it folder. And when I tap outside here, it's going to make those changes. And now we can see that it says folder. I mentioned there was another way of doing it. What I can do is I can open up the folder, tap on it to open it up, and then if we long press on the title of the folder, we're able to change that name. It puts it into the jiggly mode, and then I can go and change that name. So this was entertainment, so I'm just going to call it entertainment again. correct the spelling there. And now we have my entertainment. And if I want to remove that folder, what I have to do is I have to remove all of them out of there. So I just drag one, tap on the others, I drag it out, and that folder is no longer there. And then the last thing I want to show you is how we remove an app. We basically have two options when we remove an app. We can remove the app from the iPad itself, so it's no longer on the iPad, or what we can do is we can just remove it from the home screen. When we remove it from the home screen, what it's going to do is it's going to place it in the app library. And I have a separate video on the app library. So you can always find all of your apps in this app library. So if you remove an app from the home screen, you can still find it in the app library unless you delete it from the iPad. So how do we do this? How do we remove it from a home screen to keep it on the iPad in the app library, as well as just remove it altogether? Well, basically all we have to do is just long press on an app. So let's go with FaceTime here. I want to remove that. I long press on it, and then you're going to see Remove App. I did let go. I'm not continually holding down that button. We can just long press on it until that contextual menu comes up. Then we tap on Remove App, and this is where we have the option. So what I'm able to do is remove it from the home screen, and then it'll keep it in the app library. Or what I can do is I can just remove the app altogether, and then I'm going to have to go to the app store to download it again. So in this case here, let's just remove it from the home screen. And now we can see it is no longer there. But if I do go to my home screen, that was FaceTime, you're going to see I do have FaceTime here. So it is still there. Now, if you don't see Remove App, let's go over here to Google Chrome. Let's say I wanted to remove that. Well, Google Chrome has a number of actions when you long press on an app icon. Specific apps can have different actions in here. So you're going to see that there is no option to remove that app. So how do we do it? Well, basically what we have to do is we have to go to Options here. And when I tap on Options, now I'm able to remove that app. I tap on that, and I get my Remove from Home Screen or Remove the app or Delete the app. I'm just going to go and delete this. I don't use Google Chrome, so I delete it, and it confirms it. This will delete it. And now that app is gone. It is not going to be in my app library. It's not going to be on my iPad. So that's how we can remove apps. Basically, we can do this through the contextual menu. Just long press on it, and then from there you can remove the app. When you remove the app, you have two options. You can remove it from a home screen, so it'll still be in your app library, or you can just remove it from the iPad altogether. So that is how we work with apps on the iPad. We can move them. We can move a single app, or we can move multiple apps. We can place them into folders, and then we can also remove them. Remove them from the iPad altogether, or just remove them from the home screen. So that's how we work with our apps on the iPad. Now, if you found this video helpful, what you may want to do is like the video. You could subscribe to my channel. You could share it with your friends and family. I also have a couple of other options for you. I have a site called Dan's Tutorials. It has not only more videos, but it has an AI assistant modeled after an Apple Genius, and I host classes and webinars on a regular basis. When you become a member, it is a membership-based site. When you become a member of that site, you have access to all of those videos. I take out all of the ads of the videos, and you have access to that AI assistant as well as my classes and webinars. I also have another option. If you don't like memberships or subscriptions and you just want to take a course, you can go to dansonlinecourses.com. Over there, I have courses on various devices from Apple. As of this recording, it is just the iPhone, but I plan on adding this video along with several others to an iPad course as well as a Mac course down the road. So check out Dan's Online Courses for more information on that. With either one, you're helping support a small business. It is just me in a corner office of my house. I'm not part of some large organization. So if you become a member or you buy one of my courses, you are helping support a small business. And as always, thanks for watching.